This video is sponsored by BetterHelp, the premier online therapy platform. With spring in full swing, it's the perfect time for a mental refresh. And let's face it, we can all use a little assistance in decluttering our minds. That's where BetterHelp comes in. I've been using BetterHelp to do this very thing, and it has been a sincere improvement in my life. I connect once a week with a therapist that has been tailored to meet my needs, and I hope you consider doing the same. Whether you prefer phone calls, video chats, or messaging, BetterHelp has you covered. By making therapy more accessible, BetterHelp connects you with licensed professionals who are dedicated to providing attentive, unbiased support. If you're considering therapy, you're not alone. Join over 4 million people who have turned to BetterHelp to improve their overall well-being. Visit betterhelp.com/CinemaSins or select CinemaSins when you sign up to receive a special discount on your first month of therapy. Comcast.
Hello, my name is Robert Montague Renfield.
Renfield Eration.
Whoa, that was a lot. Maybe we should just back up to the beginning.
It was indeed a lot, but aren't we in your imagination? Didn't you choose to start here? Why is someone else editing your imagination as you narrate?
Dracula's powers come from consuming human life. Mine come from eating bugs. Make sense? Great.
No, it does not make sense. And the fact that we're hurriedly being told to pay no attention to the man behind the curtain suggests the movie doesn't think it makes sense either.
The moment I'm gone, they will lock you away for what you've done for me.
Why are the hunters waiting long enough to allow Renfield to get sucked into Dracula's bullshit? Why aren't they, at the very least, trying to restrain Renfield so they don't have to worry about him?
Renfield! We are the last of our kind!
This seems to imply that once the priest dies, there is no way the ritual can be repeated. But this is a fact that will be forgotten or won't matter by the end of this movie when the ritual is pulled off with ease by a determined traffic cop. Also, if you're this concerned about being the last of your kind, then maybe don't focus on the you should only have sex when married or you should remain celibate part so much. Break those pacts and you probably have a lot more descendants to carry on your life's work of hunting down and killing vampires. See, I just fixed religion.
I was not expecting that.
Really? Because you've seen Dracula murder a bunch. You've even helped Dracula murder a bunch. Nothing should shock you at this point. In case you confused it with New Orleans yesterday.
May I borrow a pen, please?
Chekhov's ballpoint.
Is that the one that's 99% horns?
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking.
No, that's a huge oversimplification of Ska's innovative contribution to music. Oh my God, who am I?
Sounds like you're a much bigger fan of ska than you would like to admit. And you're getting at least 5 cherry poppin' daddies worth of sins for it.
But I promise you, one day you're gonna realize that you can have the life that you want.
Unkeepable platitudinal promises.
This is exactly why you never set your picnic up next to a pile of dog shit. Okay.
The one life lesson my Uncle Bruno gave me before he was taken to jail for trespassing on our neighbor's property and painting their prize-winning bull mastiff yellow somehow made its way into this movie.
You took something you can never give back.
Well, we can give it back. That's not a problem.
I'm not going to pretend these guys were written to be burdened with intelligence. But what was their plan? Steal a bunch of drugs from a big crime family, hide in the same city, and then immediately give it back as soon as someone from said family turns up? Why are you still hanging out in New Orleans? Why aren't they sitting on a beach earning 20%? Listen, chloroforming your victim is rarely the best way to go in these situations. Unless you use just the right amount, you're just as likely to kill the person you're trying to kidnap instead of knock them out. And if Renfield isn't worried about accidentally killing them, why bother drugging them at all? What? That is a perfectly acceptable level of chloroform knowledge and is in no way suspicious. Nicholas Hoult getting a power-up and kicking a bunch of ass is a fun sight to see. But it also reminds me so much of Robert Downey Jr.'s version of Sherlock Holmes, where he knows all the kung fu for some reason, and I don't like thinking about that version of Sherlock Holmes. You, Guy Ritchie, even though I love the Rather Man. Man, glad I got that on my system. Carry on.
I got Apache Joe on it. The man cuts out people's tongues with a hunting knife. You tell him his name is racist.
Well, if my tongue is cut out, how exactly would I do that, Teddy? Teddy. Honestly, this movie could have been titled Teddy, and you wouldn't have to change a single thing. It's the fly of the tiger, it's the key to his fight.
I'm Teddy Lobo!
Is a terrible middle name to give a child. I'm confused by Teddy's plan here. He seemed worried about getting caught with the drugs, so why did he get in line at a DUI checkpoint?
It's not exactly a castle, but it is exactly the kind of place no one tends to notice a convalescing monster.
He should have tried Congress. There are countless monsters convalescing in there every day, going completely unnoticed. I'm amazed Dracula has any time to reconstitute himself after spending the whole day lighting all these candles.
What is this? This one doesn't even have a head!
I'm kind of with Dracula here. Considering there were at least 3 bodies back at the garage possessing heads, it's odd that Teddy chose to bring headless Apache Joe instead of any of the bodies with heads.
I suppose this is what you'd call my health care plan. His blood has the power to heal the injured. There's not even a copay. Unless you consider my soul.
How is it that Dracula has a more compassionate healthcare system than the US?
I'll tell you anything you want to know. What do you want to know?
Nobody's been in the room yet, and he's already confessing.
Why is he panicking? He knows his family owns the police department, so what does he think is going to happen here? Or did someone just like the idea of Ben Schwartz ad-libbing about murders and drugs?
I'm going to take down the entire Lobo Empire off of one traffic stop. No.
Premature incarceration.
Your father was one of the most honest and incorruptible cops I knew, and you're a lot like him.
Cop attempting to follow in their incorruptible dead father's footsteps while battling an institutionally corrupt system cliche. This sign says, don't solve the crime till overtime. And that rather feels like saying the quiet part out loud. Don't they have to at least pretend to not be corrupt rather than beating this dead police horse?
You're not the only one who lost a dad here.
Dead Father Olympics.
I built an empire, and I need to know its future is secure.
Oh wow, the gang leader is a sadist that wants to maintain their rep, but their spoiled brat of an offspring keeps doing reckless shit and ruining the family name? What a fresh take on a well-trodden and tired concept, and I may have just sarcasmed myself into a coma.
I know Teddy's up to something. I'm gonna find the evidence to make it stick.
Yes, like all solid detective work, one must first decide who is guilty and then find the evidence that fits that assumption. I see nothing problematic here.
What is that? Some kind of warning?
If it's not a message for Rebecca, then ska song lyrics or not, that is the most convenient warning message that was never meant as a warning. And Rebecca will now find the pen that leads her to Mulattes, where Renfield will conveniently be. And Teddy will conveniently show up so Rebecca can conveniently see Renfield in action. So neat how all that just worked out. Stowing your metal boom tube next to your fleshy boom tube. If you're just gonna take your mask off after you started holding up the place, then what the was the point of the mask in the first place? As far as I can tell, this person never makes the return journey from the ceiling.
Robert Montague Renfield.
Oh, Montague, cool. Are you from around here, or?
Yes, because everything about his accent absolutely screams New Orleans.
What's this?
My plan.
This beautiful multi-step roadmap to world domination is made at least partially unreadable by the spider web that's been painted on after the fact. I mean, why is it even a spider web? Are spiders even a Dracula thing? Also, I take it back. This beautiful multi-step roadmap is actually a very lazy multi-step roadmap, as it has sentences that are copied and pasted here, and here, and here, and here. Slurping your glass of blood. Do better, Dracula. We can see you're drinking. We don't need to hear it. Why are all these books here at this group meeting? Isn't this just a church they use? Does Mark just bring all these books to every meeting? Why?
My life is like a never-ending hallway of funhouse mirrors, but all the clowns are me.
Can we go one goddamn horror movie or horror comedy without mentioning clowns? Clowns have nothing to do with this movie. I would even argue clowns have very little to do with funhouses. Can we please stop talking about clowns before they become less interesting than zombies?
He controls rats with his mind.
It's okay. He's on medication.
Dude, you are supposed to be creating a safe space for these people and you say like this?
Exactly. He won't grow to full power. What? That's so weird. Why would you phrase it like that?
Brandon Scott Jones steals every scene he's in. That deserves a sin removal. With that being said, what's so weird about that? It's a better metaphor than the one Clown Lady used. And even if it's weird by your standards, you respect that it's Renfield's point of view. You don't shame him. How the does Renfield manage to get an apartment with no job references, and does he even have money? He's already said how they're on hard times financially, and that's why they're staying in the abandoned hospital. I mean, how could we possibly be expected to recognize this as a brown bag of groceries if it didn't have a baguette sticking out of it? Yeah, these motivational posters lose some of their impact when you can't read them.
The power is in your hands. That book is your armor.
Thinking that reading will give you any kind of power.
That's a cool ant farm. Is there room for one more?
This lady doesn't seem to think it's weird that this stranger had a pocket ant ready to go and still allows him near her child. How exactly is he keeping all these bugs alive in this little box? Most of them would have suffocated or been eaten by a bigger bug.
I don't know how many of you assholes are on the Lobo's payroll, but there's only so much evidence you can tamper with and so many witnesses you can intimidate.
Underestimating an American police force. America. Wait.
I really like your sweater.
Oh, thank you.
I went to Macy's.
He went to Macy's.
But we've hacked into the NSA's eye in the sky, and we can track him.
Yes, I can get you access to whatever you want.
And then we enhance.
I wish the sin was that the NSA couldn't possibly have that many cameras watching us, but this is probably completely accurate, so I'll settle for a zoom and enhance cliche instead.
His last known location is at the old charity hospital.
Except he's not there at all. He's at the police station. And then he goes to his apartment, which somehow wasn't picked up by any of your NSA peeping machines. I think something in the script just really wanted Tedward to bump into Dracula. Remember when Teddy got stabbed in the neck by Renfield? Because I guess no one else on set did, considering he doesn't have a mark or a bandage covering the spot where he was stabbed. Those are a lot of dead bodies Renfield just leaves behind. I realize an abandoned building doesn't get very many tourists, but there could still be some random people walking in occasionally. Why take a chance on anyone discovering what's going on here? Dracula punches Teddy instead of killing him, like he did with all of Teddy's men, because I guess he read the script and saw that Ben Schwartz was fourth billed. Dracula turning into several bats looks cool, there's no doubt, but is it logical? What if 3 of the bats ran into electric wires or were eaten by a giant bird? Would Dracula come back missing a foot or a few fingers or a pancreas? The movie teases us with this possibility but never delivers.
Hello, Renfield. I've been expecting you.
Okay, great bit, but come on, Rennie. You've been his familiar for, what, a century? How did you this up so badly?
Are you actually suggesting that anything you could do would hurt me?
I mean, he could have driven a wooden stake through your heart, hit you with some holy water or sunlight, cut your head off, etc. Actually, quite a few things Renfield could do to hurt you, Drac.
Put these ideas in your head? Of course.
Dracula now heads straight for the support group that's been corrupting Renfield. But damn it, do they meet every damn night? How lucky is it that they're meeting again right as he makes this discovery?
How do you two know each other?
From this support group.
The movie continues to bend the laws of probability into an Escher pretzel, as we find out that these two met at the support group but somehow didn't realize that their boyfriends worked together as criminals, also that Rebecca could wind up at the support group seconds after the oncoming massacre.
I mean, where's the rule that says we have to talk about our feelings in a gym?
Being this cryptic, instead of just saying, there's a madman on his way here who will kill all of you.
Would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
I guess Mark is looking slightly perturbed, but no one seems to be reacting the way I would be if I was a vulnerable person suddenly faced with a spiky-toothed, ghostly pale gentleman in a top hat and a fur-trimmed coat. Maybe I'm weird. If Dracula needs blood to get to full power, isn't he wasting a lot of it here? I'm sure he's having fun, but couldn't he go to town on just 1 or 2 of them and then save the rest? Or at least kill them all in a way that doesn't require you to lick their lifeblood off a dirty gymnasium floor?
There are some experiences worse than death, Renfield.
2022's Death on the Nile? Dreaming of a world where prejudice has no power and the full knowledge that that day may never come? Delaware?
Holy shit.
Are you referring to the fact that Dracula conveniently flew away before Rebecca and yourself walked in the church? I was also thinking holy shit in my head when that happened. So it's literally the entire New Orleans police force from the captain down that's on the mob's payroll. She's got the entire police force in her pocket. I mean, did she stop there? Did she get the fire department too? Sanitation? This level of corruption is impressive and unbelievable in equal measure. I hope.
I know this is not exactly what you were hoping for.
Maybe not, but honestly, I'm just relieved it isn't another vampire's kiss. I don't think I could sin another vampire's kiss.
Success really is the best revenge.
Is it though? Last I checked, you can't serve a dish of success cold. For some reason, a few sparks were enough of a distraction to allow Rebecca to make it to her car, even though I've seen gusts of wind that are more distracting. The simple act of her pulling a weapon should have ended her arc right here.
I will unleash an army of death.
Please, God, no. That's just altogether too close to a movie I never want to think about again.
It sounds like you gotta meet my mom.
Setting your mom up with Dracula.
I don't want you to think of me as some kind of murderer, when it's really much more nuanced than that.
No, you're pretty much an old-fashioned run-of-the-mill murderer. There's not a lot of nuance involved.
I graduated top of my class, and I'm still working DUI checkpoints in a town with daiquiri drive-thrus.
This is literally a thing that exists in New Orleans, and this movie is the reason I have to live with that knowledge.
I'm at his place, but it's okay.
Kate continues to have this call over speakerphone even after Rebecca has told her she needs to assume everyone around her has been corrupted by the Lobos. I'm not saying Kate deserves to be kidnapped by the Lobos right after this, but I'm also not saying that Kate deserves to be kidnapped by the Lobos right after this. I spent a good amount of time looking at this interface in an attempt to sin it, but damn it, everything checks out. Boxes highlighted here even correspond to the different types of footage being shown here. This goes to show that somebody went to too much effort to make sure I wouldn't find anything wrong. This kid will have some serious trauma after this and potentially become Mr. Glass or something worse. Movie just decides to gloss over that and move on with Renfield going all punchy on the corrupt cops. All the action here is gloriously bonkers, easy to follow, and downright outrageous. More of this, please, Hollywood. Renfield should be covered in blood from head to toe after this blood explosion, but he's not.
It's the real
Dracula!
And Mama Lobo will believe this immediately, less for the consistency of her character and more for the fact this movie only has about 20 minutes left. In fact, the entirety of this Dracula fighting crime with the Lobo section is so rushed it feels like a completely different and unfinished movie got thrown in here. I don't usually ask for more time in a movie, but this movie needed at least 10 more minutes.
Hello, Mr. Dracula. Or should I say Prince Dracula?
No, what you should be saying is, oh, Dracula's real? Why is everyone so chill about this? Not changing your jeans that have blood on them. You were literally at the apartment complex where Renfield lives. Also, you couldn't at least take the damn cuffs off? They're your cuffs. You do have the key, right?
Look, I don't think he's such a bad guy.
For a serial killer? Is that what you forgot to finish that sentence with? Because I think you did.
And as someone that cares about you,
You met him like 2 days ago. Oh, and he's a f***ing serial killer.
All right, if we're going to do this, we need to prepare and we need to do it before sunset.
We all love a good suit-up montage, but if the police are under the Lobo's collective thumb, how did she get to the evidence locker to grab these keys, and why the f*** did they let you into the armory? Also, suit-up montages.
is a protection circle.
It's a circle made of powder. It traps demons if you say the right Latin stuff.
Forget it.
She will not forget it. In fact, she will not forget it so much that it will end up being the only reason they end up prevailing. Yay for forepowdering!
Is it in my teeth?
There's no way you would not know was in your teeth if you had that much in your teeth. Too Renfield, too furious.
Wait a second, don't I know you? Because you look so familiar.
So does being the familiar not only force you to recite terrible puns, but also give you the ability to train a centipede to crawl up into your nose as you deliver the punchline? That's way more interesting than all of the fighting. They should have focused more on the bug stuff. So here we have, yet again, a bunch of people with the exact same powers fighting each other, and the, I want to say, protagonist will be the only one that comes out on top. Why? We don't know. Do we care? We f***ing should.
One moment, please. I need to set the mood first.
Well, this just makes me wonder why the shades were up in the first place. I mean, other than to show Rebecca that this button exists so she can use it later.
Having Dracula powers is f***ing amazing!
Stop saying Dracula powers.
Renfield would be the Count of CinemaSins.
What did he call you again? An empty f***ing husk?
He did call him that, but Teddy wasn't around to hear it, and Dracula does not strike me as the type of person who would care enough to repeat that later. Seeing Ben explosively Schwartz his pants after a flying kick to the spinal cord was not something I had on my bingo card today, but here we are. Excuse me while I bleach my eyes.
I can see what Renfield saw in you.
As can we. That's not really the question anyone has. I would really like to f***ing know what Rebecca sees in Renfield, though. Movie chooses to weirdly avoid that question.
Congratulations. You shot my foot.
Your foot still bleeds.
Given that the whole point is for the blood from Dracula's foot to fall into Renfield's mouth, I'm kind of shocked his skull didn't catch some friendly fire from Rebecca's genius plan.
I'm Robert Montague Renfield!
I'm glad for you in this moment, sir, but I'm going to give you for choosing to include your middle name. I don't go around introducing myself as Cinema Beverly Sins, and you can probably understand why.
Is that a protection circle?
I got the instructions off a Wiccan Tumblr.
Yes, but when the hell did she say all the Latin words and that were also needed?
And that?
Cocaine.
Really?
Yeah, I guess any kind of powder works.
It's also fairly lucky that Dracula herded you down into a room filled with the instruments of his own demise. Nicolas Cage has to yell something crazy in a movie cliche.
I've personally seen him come back from some crazy so why not try everything?
Renfield is defending the torture porn on screen, but I personally don't think he's being imaginative enough. I mean, sure, you've turned Drac into tiny chunks of concrete, but then you're throwing them all down the same sewer. Horcrux that spread his pieces across the world. Also, where the did the cement mixer come from? I doubt that Casa de Lobo had one hanging out here. I'm struggling to imagine your bloodied self wandering into the nearest Home Depot without raising all the questions.
And thank you for using Dracula blood to bring us all back to life.
But that was like a full day ago, right? Did they have to sneak it in the local corner, find the bodies, bring them back to life, and then explain what the was going on? Why did we skip that scene?
If it wasn't for you, none of us would have learned what it's like to come back from the other side.
Sure, they've come back from the dead and decided to go back to the same support group instead of starting an entirely new support group of people who have been resurrected from the dead. I swear if we see Dracula or some minion nab this jar of blood in a post-credit scene or at the start of the sequel, well, I can't do much because we're at the end of the video. But I'll make this ding just slightly louder than usual, perhaps imperceptibly so, as a sign of my potential frustration towards something that may or may not happen. One Schrodinger, please.
I was attacked by a bat.
What did you say about a hitman sent to kill you?
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask. You brained him.
You one ugly motherfucker.
Do you even know why we became the most powerful crime family in the city? I'll get the ball rolling. I'm a smug old bitch who enjoys playing with life and death on her big chessboard.
Why am I not embracing what I truly am?
Which is?
God, Renfield.
You ask me if I have a God complex? Let me tell you something. I am God.
However, I'm the real victim here. Am I getting through to you? Over.
Are you Caitlin Berggren?
Let's get some f***ing French toast.
Can I get through one fucking share, please?
I can't believe you're making this about you.
I know this is not exactly what you were hoping for.
It's all about the greater good.
This crime family of yours, would it enjoy witnessing the beheading of its enemies and the impairment of all who oppose it?
You had me at hello. You had me at hello.
You turn me on, brump. You're not too tall, you're not too short, you're not too round, brump.
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?